Hello and welcome to Moto News Now on the Motocross Network. I was going to do this video yesterday, but due to how many stories I've got lined up, I really wanted to take my time and produce this properly. Let's first look at our video lineup for the day. We're going to start with Austin Forkner, his recovery, and his newly expressed confidence. Then we're going to look at Dylan Ferrandis, an update on him when he'll return. Then we got the Brazilian, Enzo Lopes, an update on him. And then we're going to head over to MXGP for one story. Look at the Red Bull KTM rider Jeffery Herlings, an injury update on him. Again, he's injured. Then Coty Schock, he signed a huge contract extension with his team. We'll go through that. Then we've got some details on the AMA/MXGP combined race that was rumored. We finally heard from somebody who would know about it, so we'll look at that. And then the final story of the day, Cochran will be making his pro debut this weekend in Foxborough. Let's get into it. All right, so Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Austin Forkner seems to have both mentally and physically rebounded after his gnarly crash back in Arlington Supercross that knocked him out of title contention.
Short right here. Okay, watch what happens with the short. Weight gets kicked forward. Oh, man, here's another look. And see, watch when he clips the rear tire. See his weight go forward, his left hand comes off, and it's over at this point. And that is a rough impact.
He's being evaluated by the Alpine Stars medics. Great to see him even walking there under his own power with a little bit of help.
As you all know, he's been out since this crash, dealing with the subsequent injuries consisting of a concussion, lung bleeding, a broken scapula, and fractures of the L3 and L4 in his spine. Originally, he seemed to be taking this injury pretty hard. He posted a lengthy, 10.5-minute video on his socials talking about his injury and the mental toll this one took on him. Here's a clip of that.
You know, I shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff. I don't know what this means right now for me or my future or whatever. You know, riding and stuff related. I shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff right now, but that's just how I work. I'm always, what's next? But this one really did scare me. And, you know, sometimes I always, talk to God and ask for signs and ask for him to show me this and show me that. And, maybe this is just another milestone or another thing for me to overcome. It's just going to add to my story. But at some point, you got to start thinking that maybe he's trying to show me something,
As you can hear from that clip, it seems after a multitude of injuries year after year, this one may have done him in. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. After nearly 2 months of recovering, both mentally and physically, it seems he's on track for the most confident comeback yet. Last week, Forkner's wife put out a social post of them taking a trip to Palm Springs, California, and subtly announced that he's back to training soon. She said, quote, "Quick trip to Palm Springs before he's back in the saddle." So that's good to hear. Shortly thereafter, he got LASIK eye surgery done, which he noted in his injury update video that he hasn't been able to get due to his vision's continual change. It has to stop changing for him to get LASIK surgery, so he finally got that done. Out of the 3 things he needed to get in order before a proper return, that marks 2 checked off. Said list consists of, obviously, number 1, healing from those injuries sustained in Arlington. Number 2, fix his eyes so his depth perception is in order and he can throw away those contact lenses. And now all he has left is number 3, gaining back his confidence. Well, it seems he already has that back as well. In a comment reply on the LASIK eye surgery social post, he replied to somebody who said, quote, "Oh man, that's bad news for the competition." Forkner's reply to that read, "No, what's bad for them is that I was beating them with 50% or less strength on my left arm and hand since all my nerve issues in it, a knee that had 2 ACL replacements last year, and essentially riding blind after my contact fell out." Now, if that doesn't sound like a confident rider to you, I don't know what will. It even sounds a little cocky. So that is number 3 checked off the list. Forkner will most likely be returning to racing at Round 1 of Pro Motocross at Fox Raceway this summer. Although unconfirmed, this seems to be a likely return due to his current status recovery-wise. This will give him time to get back training and, of course, for his eyes to heal after the LASIK. According to AustinEye.com, the recovery period for the surgery is 12 to 24 hours, but can take up to 5 days. In some cases, it'll take 3 to 6 months for the eye to fully heal, though. So depending on his recovery process, this may hinder his riding in the early races of the season. But no matter what, without a doubt, I think we will see the most confident comeback from Forkner yet upon his return. Statements like the one he made in that reply go to show where his mental state is, and justifiably so after his first 2 rounds. He clearly has that I am the man, I was the fastest guy on track mentality back. So now that he's got the eye weakness taken care of, he's got all the tools in his tool belt available to him. So can't wait to see what he's got this summer. All right, before we move on to the next story, let me tell you about my sponsor, Blood Lubricants. Blood makes a variety of premium oil products for moto and UTV use. One of their incredible products is their Pro Series Chain Lube. Why choose this over other brands, you may ask? Well, Blood's Chain Lube has a dry film that resists dirt. It clings to the chain to last longer and has deep penetration for better lubrication. Head to bloodlubricants.com and use my code TMN25 for 25% off site-wide. All right, next we got an update on Phoenix Honda's Dylan Ferrandis. He has kind of disappeared for the better part of a month now, having a pretty solid year up until this point. So what happened? Well, let's take a look at his race results real quick for context. As you can see here, from the beginning of the year, he kind of lived up to the hype that he had coming into the season. P5 in Anaheim, 6th in San Fran, another 6th in San Diego, 9th at A2, 7th in Detroit, 6th in Glendale, then a DNF in Arlington. That's odd. That's the only inconsistency we've seen out of him thus far. Then in Daytona, he came home in 8th, even after this gnarly crash. Although he walked away relatively unscathed from that crash, this was the beginning of his downfall. He did cite a slight knee injury from this crash, but just bone bruising, nothing too serious. Soon thereafter, he also informed us that he had been battling an illness since round 6 in Arlington. Obviously, it must have been pretty bad because he had a great start back in Arlington, I believe 6th or 7th place if my memory serves me right, but ended up pulling out of the race. Although he was sick, he attempted to push through it, kept training, and showed up to Birmingham Supercross to see what he could do. Again, he made it to the main, got a fantastic start in about 4th, but slowly fell back and then was victim to a crash, another DNF for Ferrandis. After this, he pulled out of racing. He's missed 3 rounds so far and remained pretty quiet since then, as he typically does. Well, we finally got an update on him via socials saying, quote, I got sick after round 6. And with training and racing every week, it turned into a lung infection. It was not possible to ride the last 2 weeks, but I feel better now. Still not 100%, but getting there slowly. I hope I can come back to normal training routine for next week and be back at the races quick. His team, Phoenix Honda, then confirmed yesterday that he will be back on the gate for Nashville Supercross next weekend. Quote, Dylan Ferrandis will miss Foxborough as well. He has made a ton of progress. We will be back at the races soon, the team said via press release. So I'm happy to see Dylan coming back next week. It really sucked to see his season get struck down with that illness because he was really setting him up for one amazing season. I mean, it could have been one of his best yet. So it sucks to see, but hopefully he comes back stronger and hopefully he can get another top 5 here and there. All right, before we get into the next story, issue number 8 of the Motocross Network's magazine is currently being printed and will be shipping out to all MagPass subscribers in the coming weeks. If you aren't a MagPass subscriber and want to become one, or just buy single copies like these, head to the mxnetwork.com, links in the description. I've got some back issues, and issue number 8 is up for pre-order, so as soon as I get that in, I'll ship that out to you as well. So, yeah, head to my website and snag one. All right, on to the next story. The popular Brazilian native Enzo Lopes made a huge step up in the world of moto late last year when he signed with the renowned Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team. After bouts of success on the well-accredited satellite team Club MX FXR Yamaha, we had high expectations for Lopes coming into 2024. Unfortunately for Lopes, his year ended before it even began. Along with many other team members, he went under the knife preseason for what's known as arm pump surgery. So what is that, you may ask? Well, it's a procedure that's actually called a fasciotomy. This procedure consists of the doctor cutting open your forearms, either cutting a piece of the fascia out or actually taking a strip of it out. This allows for better blood flow in the arms, thus preventing arm pump. Typically, the recovery for this surgery is relatively easy. A patient can begin doing everyday functions quite rapidly after the surgery, usually within 1 to 2 days. Riders can begin to train after 2 to 3 weeks and start to compete 4 to 6 weeks later. But on rare occasions, the recovery can be a lengthy process, as it's not for everybody. Unfortunately, this is the case for Enzo. Enzo hasn't been very vocal about this. He's kept a distance from the moto media and has remained quite silent on social media. In fact, he's only put out one post in 2024, and all it says is Plano de Deus, which means God's plan in Portuguese. Right now, he is back home in Brazil and riding motocross. Yesterday, he released a video on his story talking about his situation and finally giving us an update. I'm going to give you a warning. He does talk very fast in Portuguese, so you'll have to read the English subtitles pretty quickly. Anyways, here's what he had to say.
Salve pessoal, queria passar aqui porque eu tô bem sumido, né? Mas eu venho treinando, tô de volta em casa já faz algumas semanas e a verdade é que eu não tô 100% ainda. Por algum motivo minha recuperação ela meio que estagnou desde quando eu tava lá nos Estados Unidos, já fazem agora alguns meses. E eu fui no médico e a gente achou que o edema, mas a gente não sabia dizer qual o problema agora, se é o nervo, se é o botox. Então a verdade é que eu tenho que esperar e talvez fique assim para sempre, né? E eu venho treinando motocross e graças a Deus o meu problema no motocross ele não é tão ruim porque não usa tanto freio, a suspensão é mais mole, pista mais aberta. Então tem dado para se divertir, aproveitar um pouco minha casa. Não está sendo um momento fácil, nem acompanho as corridas, eu também nem vejo as fotos da minha moto, enfim, do que passou, porque é bem difícil. Mas enfim, feliz de estar em casa, treinando. E é isso, só resolvi dar as caras por aqui. Valeu! O que eu quero dizer é que eu estou me adaptando, né? O meu braço, enfim, por exemplo, como meu dedo indicador é o maior problema, se eu chego muito forte numa curva, tenho que frear, eu passo reto na curva, entendeu? Ou perco o equilíbrio, enfim, então eu tenho que frear um pouco antes e por estar andando motocross eu não sei sobre o futuro, eu não sei, enfim, meu contrato era só Supercross e eu, no momento, a minha cabeça, eu não consigo nem pensar nisso ainda, entendeu? Mas é isso, como eu falei, eu estou muito feliz de estar em casa e se as pessoas soubessem o quão bem isso me faz. Mas estou aí, Enzo Lopes, tá aí, tá vivo e sigo firme e forte, treinando sempre e é isso, sempre dando o meu melhor.
Obviously, as he said in that video, he doesn't know what his future holds as he had a Supercross-only deal. I personally would love to see him get the chance to make up for all that lost time in summer, or this summer in Pro Motocross. Let's make that happen, Star Yamaha. You guys know what this kid is capable of. You signed him for Supercross. You know he can perform when he's healthy, so hopefully they give him a shot this summer. Anyways, hopefully he gets back in shape and puts this whole arm situation behind him. Before we move on, we now have our very own clothing shop. If you like what we do and want to support us, you can buy shirts, you can buy hats like this one, you can buy hoodies, all on the mxnetwork.shop. So far, all we have is the OG collection, but there will be more to come soon. It's all premium products. We didn't chintz out on it. Everything is embroidered, and some of our stuff has printed designs on them as well. All of that is the highest quality DTG printing. So if you want to support the Motocross Network, this is a great way to do it whilst looking good and feeling comfortable. All right, on to the MXGP story of the day. It looks like we have some more unfortunate news for the popular Dutch MXGP racer Jeffery Herlings. Year after year, he deals with injury, and after just 3 rounds of the series, he has already racked up another. On the bright side of things, it's not a bad enough injury to keep him from racing. It's most likely just going to hinder his performance for a couple rounds. At last weekend's MXGP of Sardinia, Herlings had a crash in practice, and he seems to have injured his ribs. It doesn't sound like he broke them, possibly cracked them, or just bruised them, but still it's going to hurt. Herlings hit it until last night when he posted this picture. I'll throw it up on screen right now. GateDropMX.com then reached out to him for comment on it. Herlings' response reads, quote, "I had a massive one on Saturday morning and had the wind knocked out of me, which didn't help. I had an issue in my ribs all weekend then, and the track was so bumpy. No excuses, but it meant the GP was a struggle. The second moto was the first time this season I had the pace to go with Jorge until the crash. Overall, this is a step forward. I'm not as fast as the other guys yet, but I'm much closer than I was in Argentina and closer again than I was in Spain. I'll keep growing. It's a long season and a lot more motos to go. I'm happy to be back on the podium for now." So like he said, Herlings still took third overall and even ran with Prado for 20 minutes in the final moto at Riola. Before crashing, he had a small tip over, and that ended his hope of battling to the wire with him. Hopefully this doesn't hold him back too much. A lot of people online are claiming that the Flying Dutchman or the bullet days of Herlings are over. Steve Mathis even said on this week's Pulp MX show that it's time to hit the panic button on Herlings, but I'd argue against that. I think he's had a bumpy start to the season for sure, but he's been making progress week after week. The fact that he could keep it within a couple seconds of Jorge Prado in Sardinia this weekend for, I believe it was 19 minutes of the race, he was within 2 seconds of him. With the rib injury, I mean, that gives me hope, man. That shows that he still has the speed there, so hopefully he recovers from this and can get back up there battling with defending champion Jorge Prado in the future. All right, on to the next story. The Muc-Off FXR ClubMX Yamaha team has proudly declared a contract extension with Coty Schock, ensuring his presence within the team until 2027. This agreement commences in 2025, yet the team has also confirmed Schock's commitment to a short-term contract that will include his participation in AMA Pro Motocross for the 2024 season. Schock originally joined the team as a free agent after the 2023 season, with a contract initially intended for Supercross alone. His performance this year has been nothing short of impressive, as he currently holds the 5th position in 250 East standings, boasting 2 top 5 finishes. One of these came shortly after he broke his collarbone, demonstrating the resilience and dedication. Now it's 26 years old. Schock has a stable platform to further his career for the next 3.5 years. Coty Schock said in this press release, quote, "I don't want to be anywhere else. The atmosphere is amazing, the tracks are unbelievable, and the bike is crazy good. When I'm on the line, I feel like there isn't another bike better than mine, and that shows my performance so far. The cool thing is the team is already building for the future with more improvements in the bike and the program overall. I'm really happy to be here at this time to be a part of the next level of growth. Beyond that, thank you to the entire team for making this happen. Everyone at Club MX has a part in my success, and I'm grateful every day for the chance to be here and stay here." I'm super pumped for Schock. This is one of the biggest deals I've seen in a while, so he's doing something right. He's an incredible rider, and I think he'll be a great addition to this summer's pro motocross lineup. I'm pumped to see it. He's got a bright future, and now that he has some job security and comfort, I think he's going to shine sooner than we think, so can't wait to see what Schock has in store for us. All right, let's now look at the AMA MXGP combined race. Now, this has been rumored for a while now. The rumor of the MXGP AMA combined race has been swirling around for over a year, I believe. At first, it seemed too good to be true, just kind of an online rumor, but over time, MX Sports and Infront Moto have gotten along a lot better than they had in previous years. They're getting along so well that Infront Moto CEO David Luongo came to America a couple weeks back and witnessed his first live Supercross race. On top of that, after the race, Luongo and MX Sports CEO Davey Coombs hung out and had a meeting regarding this combined race. It sounds like it's actually going to happen, and sooner than we may think. David Luongo was asked about this by GateDrop.com. He responded with, quote, "The relationship with the American motocross promoter, MX Sports, and Supercross's Feld are very good. We are in constant contact. I strongly believe that our sport is already too small to divide it into different parts with rivalry. For sure, we have different targets as they are focused on American soil, and we manage the World Championship, but we share the same vision of making motocross bigger and popular. In this vision, both of us like the idea of creating a single and unique event where the MXGP and AMA riders would participate together. It is not a secret, and it is also true that it would be probably the most exciting and awaited motocross event in the history of our sport. I don't believe this event will happen this year or next one, but is definitely a project that both of us would love to create together." The race in question promises to be a monumental event, potentially overshadowing even the motocross of nations. The competition promises sensational racing and an unparalleled depth of talent. This event could be one of the most significant in the sport's history, especially since it is intended to count towards both AMA and MXGP points with all participants fully committed. Hopes are high for this event to come to fruition. As he said, not this year and possibly not next year, but sounds like possibly 2026 will be the year we will see this race, and I'll tell you what, I'll have to go to this one, man. Wherever it is, I'm going to have to go. This is going to be an insane race. The top 20 fastest guys in America versus the top 20 fastest guys in the World Championship. Going to be an incredible event. Hopefully that comes to fruition soon. All right, the final story of the day, Casey Cochran. He is set to make his much-anticipated debut in the 250 class in Foxborough this weekend in Supercross. This move comes as part of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's team strategy, with Cochran now poised to compete in the remaining 250 East rounds for the team. Having secured the Supercross Futures Championship title in 2023, Casey Cochran still needed to complete 2 rounds of Futures in 2024 to accumulate the necessary points for his professional license. As an amateur athlete in 2023 racing under a B license, his victories in the Future Series did not contribute towards his professional license, despite winning the championship finale last May, in Salt Lake City. Now officially joining the professional ranks alongside teammates RJ Hampshire and Guillaume Ferrez, Casey Cochran will represent Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in both the final stages of Supercross and the upcoming Pro Motocross season. The team said in a press release, quote, "We're excited to announce that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing's Casey Cochran will make his 250 SX debut this weekend in Foxborough. The 17-year-old started the 2024 season in Supercross Futures, securing his SX Pro points after Daytona and St. Louis Supercross. And now he's set to round out the 250 East rounds aboard the number 166 FC 250 Rockstar Edition." In 2024, Casey Cochran demonstrated his skills with a third-place finish at the Daytona round of Supercross Futures. However, a recent race in St. Louis saw him finish 7th after an early crash, hindering his performance. Hailing from Tennessee, Cochran has been a 6-time champion at Loretta Lynn's AMA Amateur National Motocross event and has long been anticipated to make a successful transition into pro racing. In 2023, Cochran made his debut in Pro Motocross, finishing 22nd and 37th overall in the 2 rounds he raced. Now he is set to officially transition full-time professional racing starting this summer. It's great to see. Always love adding more depth to the field, and I think this kid's going to surprise us all, whether it's now or in a few weeks or this summer. I think he's going to surprise us. All right, guys, that's all the news I have for you today. Let me know what your guys' opinions are on all these stories, all these topics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.